The silence around Pedro Pascal wasn't loud, but it was impossible to ignore. No interviews, no red carpets, no promotion. For a franchise as massive as Star Wars, that kind of absence doesn't just happen. It raises questions. And this time, those questions turned into a storm, because behind the scenes something had shifted, and fans could feel it. To understand why this moment feels so strange, you have to go back to the beginning. Back to when Pedro Pascal wasn't the face of a galaxy far, far away, but just another actor fighting for a breakthrough. For years, he built his career slowly. Small roles, short appearances, the kind of work that doesn't guarantee anything. But then came a turning point. A role that changed everything. His performance in Game of Thrones made people notice. Suddenly, Pedro Pascal wasn't just another name. He was a presence. But it was the Mandalorian that transformed him into something bigger, something global. The quiet, masked bounty hunter became an icon, and ironically, the man behind the helmet became even more mysterious. Fans connected with the character instantly, the story, the tone, and of course, Grogu. The internet exploded. Memes, fan theories, viral moments. It was everything a modern franchise needed, and at the center of it all was Pedro Pascal, or at least, it felt like he was. Because even during the height of the show's success, rumors quietly followed him. Questions about how often he was actually on set. Speculation about stunt doubles. Creative differences whispered across fan forums. Nothing confirmed, nothing clear. Just enough to make people wonder. Still, none of it slowed the momentum. Until now. Because this time, the shift wasn't subtle. It was visible. As new projects connected to the Star Wars universe began to gain attention, one name started to appear. More and more behind the scenes, Jon Favreau, the architect, the creator, the one guiding the direction of this new era. And slowly, the spotlight began to move. Not away from the franchise, but away from Pedro Pascal. Fans started asking questions. Why? Isn't he promoting? Why is he missing from key events? Why does it feel like someone else is taking control? Speculation turned into discussion. Discussion turned into debate. Some believed it was scheduling conflicts. After all, Pedro Pascal had become one of the busiest actors in Hollywood. Major roles, big projects, constant demand. It made sense. But others weren't convinced because timing matters, and this timing felt off. At the same moment, the franchise needed unity, visibility, and strong promotion. Its biggest face seemed distant, and in an industry where perception is everything, that distance became a story of its own. Online, the reactions were immediate. Some fans defended him. They pointed out his workload, his success, his right to choose, his priorities. Others questioned the direction of the franchise itself. They wondered if this shift signaled something deeper, a creative change, a power shift, or something no one was officially talking about. Meanwhile, the media did what it always does. It amplified the noise. Headlines became more dramatic. Narratives started forming, not based on facts, but on patterns, on absence, on silence. And silence in moments like this speaks louder than anything else. Because in Hollywood, when everything is going well, you see it everywhere. Interviews, promotions, smiles, but when something changes, it doesn't always come with an announcement. Sometimes it shows up as a missing presence, as fewer appearances, as a shift you can feel, but can't fully explain. And that's exactly what happened here. For Pedro Pascal, this moment didn't erase his success. It didn't undo what he built, but it did create a question mark, a pause, a moment where fans began to look closer, because fame isn't just about rising. It's about staying visible, staying connected, staying part of the story. And when that connection weakens, even slightly, people notice. For the franchise, the impact was just as important, because Star Wars isn't just a series. It's a legacy, a global phenomenon that depends on its characters, its creators, and its stars being aligned. When that alignment shifts, even a little, it creates uncertainty, and uncertainty spreads fast. But here's the truth that often gets lost in moments like this. Not every absence means conflict. Not every silence means drama. Sometimes it's just timing. Sometimes it's just change. And sometimes it's both. What makes this story so compelling isn't a confirmed controversy. It's the mystery, the unanswered questions, the feeling that something is happening just out of view. Because in today's world, audiences don't just watch stories. They analyze them. They follow every move, every detail, every absence. And when something doesn't add up, they create their own narrative. That's the real power of modern fame, and also its biggest challenge. For Pedro Pascal, this moment might just be a chapter, a transition, a shift in focus. His career is still strong, his presence still respected. But for fans, it feels like something more, because they've seen this pattern before: the rise, the peak, and then the question. What happens next? For Jon Favreau, this moment represents something different: control, direction, responsibility, the weight of guiding one of the biggest franchises in history. And in many ways, that role has never been more important. Because the future of Star Wars isn't just about stories anymore. It's about trust. Trust from fans. Trust from audiences. Trust that the people behind the scenes know where they're going. And right now, that trust is being tested, not through failure, but through uncertainty. And uncertainty is powerful because it keeps people watching, keeps people talking, keeps people invested. In the end, the real story here isn't just about Pedro Pascal stepping back from promotions. It's about how quickly things can shift in the world of entertainment, how one absence can create 1,000 questions, how a franchise can feel stable one moment and uncertain the next, and how, behind every massive success, there are always layers we don't fully see, because the biggest stories aren't always the ones told on screen. Sometimes, they're the ones unfolding quietly behind it. So now the question isn't what happened. The real question is, what happens next? Will Pedro Pascal return to the spotlight and silence the rumors? Will the franchise move forward in a new direction without him at the center? Or is this just a temporary pause before everything comes back together again? Whatever. The answer is, one thing is certain: the story isn't over. Not even close. And if there's one thing we've learned from both Hollywood and Star Wars, it's that the most unexpected twists are always the